Hello, everybody. Well, today we have a very special guest. We have with us Rod López. Rod López is industrial engineer from Monterrey Tech, but also he has another degrees, and well, that's why we have here a very interesting conversation with him. Nowadays, he's living in Japan, and he has a very interesting journey, not just in the professional but in the personal way. So, welcome, Rod. It's a great pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Fernando. Thank you so much.
And for sure, well, considering all your background, I think it will be very interesting if we could start knowing more about you.
Thank you. Well, first off, again, thank you so much for the chance. As you explained, I also graduated Tec de Monterrey. That was probably, more than 20 years ago. And actually, my first job, even a few months before graduating, I worked in a little dubbing company that was very close to campus Ciudad de Mexico. And that was probably my first official window, because it was a little site. Well, it was the first official anime site called animekai.com. It was a venture between some of the right holders for Japanese animation in Latin America, along with one of the biggest studios in Japan. It was very interesting to see how the Latin American market was definitely very, how can you say, open? Not open, but it was a better match than the US market. That was one of the first things that we were realizing, even though a lot of people actually knew about it, but there was no real data. And along the years, we also made a couple of two series of TV shows, especially in Monterrey. We were working with Multimedios, we were working with Televisa, and we aired two seasons of, one season each for each show. It was pretty much shows about Japanese animation. And again, we had the same response. Actually, in the first one, but nobody really believed in us, and we were pretty much on the top rankings, ratings for the station. Clearly, even though many of the major TV stations, even if they believe that it's just a niche market, well, thanks to other companies that have pushed that have pushed a lot more money into this, it's definitely become, and it's proven to be that it's mainstream. Even the fact that Netflix has so many titles already, that even Claro, that usually didn't have any, even they have something. Amazon is doing, it's also increasing its amount of animation really heavily. And something that really shocked even us, that, the Japan office is directly working with Disney, and we were really shocked that they integrated Japanese animation to their platform. It was like, okay, Japanese animation is originally based on Disney animation. So it pretty much rounded up the fact that, this is mainstream, this is definitely for everybody, and Latin American market is definitely a perfect fit for something like this. Now, as you mentioned, Anime Onegai started as a platform exclusive to Latin America. It's part of a larger expansion called Animeca per se, which is intended to distribute and pretty much provide Japanese animation to, I don't want to say third world, because it sounds horrible, to developing markets. So Latin America is the first step. The second step is already starting in Southeast Asia.
Okay.
And so far so good. Thankfully, the Latin American market has a very large advantage. Well, two very big advantages compared to Southeast Asia, and it's the fact that we only have two languages. 70% speak Spanish, 30% speak Portuguese. So that's a big help. That's definitely huge. And the fact that religion-wise, obviously there's a lot of little sects, but most of them are either Christian or Judaic. So most people are almost of the same faith, which means censorship is a lot more limited. And when you were mentioning that it'd be interesting definitely to talk about marketing, that helps the marketing grow. To flow a little smoother than Southeast Asia, that each country has a different set of rules, different set of religious limitations. And yeah, again, the language, there's too many languages in comparison. So thankfully, that's why Anime Onegai became the first step. So far, so good. Probably what has become one of the most interesting things to try to share with the audience, marketing wise, is okay. Our main purpose as a company is to get rid of the middleman. So basically, Japanese animation in Latin America over the years, it's been distributed by third parties, most of the time, USA parties. So the example is pretty clear when you use the analogy with Uber or Airbnb. Obviously, you will still need taxis, you will still need hotels, which are the middleman. But if you go straight to the user, definitely you can cut costs. You can get, the owners of the right holders can actually get better royalties, and the end user can have a better price for what they're paying. So that's the biggest advantage that we bring to the market. But how to translate that into use? Through users, how to get that into users' minds? It's been a little bit challenging because we cannot really use in industry terms to show that. But we found kind of a segue into that, which is that not only Mexico, but many Latin American countries also have this regional pride. So we kind of were looking for an interesting phrase. I don't want to say slogan because it's not really a slogan, but it has helped us convey a lot of what we're trying to get through. And it's called Por Nuestra América. So for our America. Obviously, Latin America is a term that's not really official, but it's pretty much understood as it's almost everything that is not the USA and Canada. Sure. And the fact that there's always been a middleman, the anime market, the anime users are very aware of that. That anime has also been distributed through USA companies. The fact that it's coming straight from Japan into Latin America, that has helped us a lot, especially with emotional support. I don't know if that would be the right term, but even though we are 10 times, literally 10 times smaller than what the middleman is offering, we have a lot of support on social media because of this phrase, maybe because of the fact that we are not. One of the things that many users mention when they see our kind of our strategy is that you are not adapting USA ideologies. You're not bringing Japanese animation, adapting to USA ideology, and then going to Latin America. You're going straight from that. So the message is a lot cleaner. The dubbing that we're making, thankfully, is also conveying that message more effectively. And we're really happy about that. We don't believe that, we are absolutely sure that Latin America is an independent market. It doesn't really need to go, obviously, again, we cannot get rid, and we don't want to get rid of the other companies, the American companies, the USA companies that have been doing a great job in the US. But we'd like them to, Animeca was created so that, again, the right holders get a little bit more, a better share of the royalties. So we need a balance. And the fact that we're getting these responses is really, really encouraging for the shareholders so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say that this statement that you mentioned, Rod, about how there is a kind of preconception that everything that goes to Latin America needs to go first to the United States. That used to happen in most of the companies, I would say, in Japan, no matter the industry. So this is a kind of breaking point about how to manage the things in a different perspective. And for sure, the platform that you have been developed is one of a big, good example about it. Even I will say that the quality, and also something that for me is really interesting about your platform is all the translation process that is so well executed. If I'm not wrong, is it directly from Japanese to Spanish?
Yes. That's definitely something that has helped us a lot. It's not only that we're bringing the product straight from Japan, but also the localization is done straight from Japanese. It took us a while to actually do the research, but we found out that absolutely no other platform translates from Japanese. None of them. Even if they have 10 times more Japanese animation, all of it is translated from English. They do it in large batches because, they serve a lot of territories, not only the US territory, Latin America, they serve a lot of other territories. So they cannot really focus on Latin America. It would take them, they would need a lot of money to actually be able to do that. And the ARPU, the average revenue per user in Latin America, is 10 times smaller than the ARPU in the US. So that's definitely an advantage that we can use. We are actually producing our own dubbing. This is, we didn't come up with this. This was actually some of the US companies do this in the US. So it's logical because you can cut costs a lot and still keep the quality on a very good level. And the fact that we are getting this, we are translating straight from that. The fact that we are producing our own stuff, it's really interesting that the users realize that. There are a few user rankings around in social media. We had no idea that they existed, and all of a sudden, some of our fans mentioned them to us via social media, and they're weekly rankings of the best dubbings that were released during that week. And if it's the top 10, well, if we are 10 times smaller, we were hoping that, maybe we'll be number 10 sometimes, because we are new, we are just starting, we still have a 10 times less expensive library. And it's the other way around. Sometimes 7 out of 10 titles are ours, and we are very usually on number 1, number 2, number 3. The fact that we are starting from scratch, the licenses that we could get a hold of are licenses that are obviously try to. It's licenses that the U.S. market did not really feel appealing for their audience. And it's a lot of content that we think, this can actually work in Latin America. It's a shame that they didn't take it, because this can work. And obviously, it's the beginning was a little bit of hit and miss. Now we think what kind of stuff Latin America really wants. There was no data for that because, as you mentioned, the middlemen, the US companies do not even have facilities in Mexico, nothing. They do everything either from Miami or from Los Angeles, so they don't really have exact data. And their Latin American teams are very small. Again, since the ARPU is so low, they don't allocate a lot of resources for Latin America. So finding out this data has helped us a lot to pinpoint a little bit more where to focus, what kind of genders are the ones that our users want, what kind of marketing they need. We still have to work a lot on finding a new direction. I think Por Nuestra América has been working great, but we need to find the next step. We're right now trying to see, okay, how much further we can take that. But yeah, I think it's definitely a breakthrough to have offices in Mexico. It opens a lot more possibilities.
Absolutely. And for sure, this you makes in your conversation looks like so easy, but for sure this is not an easy project that you start. And what do you think was the ignition point that you had to think that this could be possible, especially considering that you are living right now in the other side of the world, in Japan, and in the beginning, how do you see how this could be happen?
To be really honest, it was not my idea. It was actually my current company is called Remo, and the owner, he had this vision. He saw what had been happening. He asked for a lot of data about Latin America. I was already working in a partner company of his. Well, it's a company. It wasn't his, but I was working in that partner company, and that company was actually going to have a restructuration, and they asked us to go find a job in partner companies. So within that transition, he asked for a lot of new data. And one of the things that he found was that the largest amount of pirated content for Japanese animation in the world is not in English, it's not in Chinese, it's in Spanish, Latin American Spanish.
Okay.
So we tried to do as much research as possible, and probably the biggest reason that we found is that distribution is very poor compared to the demand. The supply is not enough for the huge amount of demand. So that was the one of the first pointers that he said, no, we have to do something there. It's definitely, he already had this idea of making Animeca. And when we provided those data to him, it's like, yeah, the first step has to be Latin America. Even in Southeast Asia, there's a lot of pirated content. Obviously, the supply there is also not enough, but the language barrier, too many languages, too many religions, it's definitely easier to move first into Latin America, especially because the US companies are not really focusing that much in Latin America. It's a market that has, there's way more content that they are not bringing and are probably not prepared to bring yet. And one of the issues that we found since we started is that thankfully we have done a few things right, and those things have been benchmarked and the bigger companies are now using them. So we were definitely right from the start. So we need to keep always one step ahead, using those advantages of actually having offices there. There's still a lot that we can do that they cannot, but it's kind of even reassuring that marketing-wise, for instance, we started using virtual YouTubers for marketing efforts, and they started doing, they already had a character, but they really weren't using it that much. And a lot of the a lot of the marketing strategies that we were using only for Latin America, they started implementing them for not only for Latin America, but for the US market. So I think we're doing some things right. We just need to keep moving as fast as possible so that, the consolidated companies cannot copy that so fast.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for sure, you mentioned very important aspects about all the marketing equation as the data that you are managing, about how you are tracking the I will say the behavior of the customers into the platform. And I will say also that the platform by itself is is very easy to use. And also, at least in the experience that I had, it looks like it is possible that could be expanded by language and other features that provides you the opportunity to go further. So saying it, which other component do you consider that is an advantage that you could tell us, specifically talking about marketing or even the technologies that is inside what you are providing?
Marketing wise, I think since we did so many things right at the beginning, we have now the issue that people are actually consuming our marketing content more than our real content. Okay. So that has become a little issue. There's a little disconnect. We are trying to figure that out. We can actually see that very clearly with the referral data. Mm-hmm. Most of our data comes either from direct visits or Google search, mm-hmm. but very, very, very few, very scarce traffic from social media. At the beginning, it was the other way around. So okay. There's clearly now a disconnect, or there's a possibility that that the idea that we're trying to share with everybody is actually stronger than what we're doing in social media. So we're trying to find out exactly where the disconnect is. Also, we are trying new campaigns. We're analyzing adding new campaigns that can better track where the conversion is missed. We actually have a lot of traffic lately that is not converting. We didn't have that at the beginning. We actually, we had a very high conversion rate at the start, and it's being, even though it has not, we have not stopped growing. That's a real issue. Mm-hmm. But the growth rate has definitely slowed down. Yeah. So we need to speed things up. We're still trying to find out exactly how. We have tried not to, in order to know what the exact factors mm-hmm. are for better conversion, for better traffic, is we are still not relying on neither influencers or paid publicity on social media. We are trying to keep those for later, mm-hmm. up until we know exactly what's the best way that we can act before relying on them. Plus, the cost there is a lot higher than what we're doing right now. Yes. So we need to control exactly how our marketing team works and what's the best thing that they can do, and then build on that. Then get influencers on top of that, and then get paid advertising on top of that. One of the things that one of the marketing managers in the Japan office was mentioning is that it's really interesting that we're getting a lot of traction without paid advertising. Mm-hmm. It's usually the other way around. People start with paid advertising because it gives you the first flow of people. Mm-hmm. But we're going the other way around. And probably this has helped us develop a core base that is very loyal, very, very loyal.
Absolutely.
And but again, yeah, there's still a lot of work. And technically, as you mentioned, yes, it is the platform is was developed for escalation. It already supports several languages. We're hoping to release Portuguese either later this year or earlier next one.
Okay.
And even though the brand is going to stay in Latin America, it's possible that the platform will be used for our other territories with the Animeca name, but pretty much the same backend. It's a very high possibility.
Yes, absolutely. Because at the end of the day, you had all this expertise applied. So looks great. And as you mentioned, right now is a kind of inflation point about with these new strategies, how to leverage the growth. But something that you mentioned that I would say that is so important. The loyalty base that you have is the most important strength. Because at the end of the day, it allows you the opportunity to continue moving forward with them, and for sure the word of mouth is something that also all the time is going to be, I will say, more effective, especially in this kind of niche that you know is not a massive product, but is something that there is a big community that embrace this kind of platforms and experiences. So for sure, that's the core and the added value, the most important for the value creation process that you will have. So that sounds great. And Rod, well, thanks so much to share about all of these. I really appreciate it. And something that I just want to mention is, or more a kind of question before we finish is, how's, I would say, your life in Japan? How it was difficult? Do you think that is I would say a great experience? Something that you want to share, especially for the people that maybe thinks to make business in Japan or also to live in Japan? Something that you want to share?
I mean, I wanna. There is a really, really good chance for business opportunities between Japan and Mexico. A lot of people think culturally we are very, very far apart. Not necessarily. We have a few things in common that are key to very good business chances. One of them, we are extremely hard workers. We work a lot, both in Japan and in Mexico. Well, in most of Latin America. The difference is that in Japan, if you work a lot, you will make a proportional amount of money, and in Latin America, not necessarily. Well, in the US as well. Even if you work a lot, your rewards might be very poor or none. In Japan, it's not so much. I mean, sometimes obviously it happens, but it's a lot more logical society. So very ignorant people say that, for example, corruption is part of the Latin American culture. It is not. Corruption is unfortunately the result of a system that doesn't really reward hard work. That's the biggest issue. We are not so different from Japanese. We have very tight family values, so do they. And if rewards in Mexico could have a similar level as in Japan, I think we would be like twin countries. But in the meantime, I mean, on the way there, I've known so many good Mexicans. I mean, the only Mexicans that I found that have not been really good for this country are Mexicans that don't really understand the level of commitment that you need at work. that unfortunately a flawed system, like most of the systems, working systems in the Americas, they feel that work is a chore instead of a part of life.
Mm-hmm.
So Mexicans that understand that, and obviously they get well paid, they thrive in Japan. I've met amazing people here, and the few that I know that have gone back to Mexico, it's basically because they don't really like this level of responsibility. That's a huge thing. You definitely need commitment. One thing that you absolutely need to forget, that it's a vice that we have in I want to say again, in the Americas, mostly in Latin America, in the US not so much. We tend to embellish a lot of what we say.
Mm-hmm.
So you must not do that in Japan. A quick example: when I joined my first company here, I actually was very active back then in Twitter, and I had 52,000 followers in that account. And I actually stopped when I arrived in Japan, and I stopped tweeting. And obviously, when you stop tweeting for a few months, you lose followers. So my account was at the moment at 48,000, and my boss asked me, "Are you active on Twitter?" No, not really. But I had 50,000 users, 50,000 followers. Oh, really? Show me. When he saw that I didn't have 50,000, he told me, he called me a liar. How can you lie to me? It's not a lie. Well, it is a lie. You don't have 50,000. So that has been, it's an episode that it always comes to my mind. You should not embellish what you're saying. You have to speak the truth and nothing but the truth. That helps a lot. And that is
Absolutely.
one big difference that we still need to work on. And most of the Mexicans that I know that have stayed here, they found out very early in their work here. And again, just to finish this thought, when I first arrived, probably by the second year, we actually had a little association of Tec de Monterrey graduates, and we had a program that was specifically to help them find jobs, stable jobs in Japan. And we were even talking to the embassy and trying to find some support, because clearly there's a lot of work here. Unlike, again, the Americas, there's a lot more job offerings than people seeking jobs. So there's like limitless chances for Latin Americans to come work here. U.S. citizens even more, because they are a lot preferred in the job market.
Sure.
But if you can get that level of commitment, if you can understand what it really means to have a job, Japan is definitely for you, for anybody that's looking.
Yeah, I think that what you said is absolutely a very deep, I will say, outcome that you have been analyzing during your years in Japan, because that's right. We used to think that as accurate as possible in the way that we had the communication, and also, to try to be as humble as possible in the way to make the conversation not as a kind of competition, but as just a fair communication. And that's an interesting differentiation between Latin American countries and Japan, for sure. I will say that, I have been working 11 years for a Japanese company, and I learned about it since I started working there. And what you said is exactly the true and a fact. And I will say that no matter that we are in a Latin American environment, it is good to to go in that direction, because at the end it is much better, and you diminish a lot of problems going in that direction. So and as you mentioned, you make more competitive and more attractive to be hired, especially if you have the skills and the willingness, but also to adapt to those kind of behaviors. So that's a great tip. Thank you so much to share.
No, thank you.
And well, Rod, I will say that just to finish, if you have something else to add, please.
Well, hopefully people can come back to Japan, because definitely tourism is a huge industry in Japan, and Corona definitely hit it really hard. Thankfully, the restrictions are almost over. Almost everybody can come back. So come visit. It's a great place to work. It's a great place to invest in. The regulations for investments are very, very low. It's very easy to invest in Japan. You have to do things very, very, orderly, obviously. Mm-hmm. But compared to other developed countries, it's very easy, and you get a visa pretty quickly for investment. So a lot of people are afraid. Well, not a lot of people, but I really have met. I have met a few people that are scared of having any business relationship with Japanese, because they think they are very square, very strict. It's just that they have a very high level of commitment. When Absolutely. You understand that, you see that, don't be scared of having business with Japan. It's a very good chance. It's one of the few countries where if you have a verbal commitment, it's as good as a contract. That's and right. It still is today. For them to break a promise is the worst thing. So I think that's a very good chance.
Yeah, that's right. And that's why we need to be aware about what we are saying. And especially, for example, the deadlines. We need to be so accurate about the way that we provide that kind of information. Because at least in my experience, it is much better to say, I will need extra time because of this and this and this, than just to not make it, because that for sure diminish the trust and the relationship confidence. And as you mentioned, commitment is one of the most important assets that the Japanese culture in general used to have. Absolutely.
And you mentioned an advantage that we as Latin Americans, I think we do have other emergence. For instance, India. There's a lot of great engineers from India working here. Mm-hmm. However, the usual issue that rises with many companies that hire them is that by culture, a little bit like us, they cannot keep deadlines. And they make up deadlines that they're just going to ignore. So it's very, very common to find that. And thankfully, Latin Americans do have the same issue, but not so much. And it's a little easier for Latin Americans to get rid of that. For some reason, in India, it's really, really strong. It's like absolutely natural to completely forget about deadlines. And for us, it's not so hard to actually get hold of to keep up with good deadlines.
Absolutely. Well, for sure, I really appreciate your time, Rod, and all the best for the upcoming projects, because I know that you are so active in social media with your platform by itself, and for sure all the Mexican community in Japan is making a lot of outcomes that make us so proud, and and it's great to know about it, especially that you are a former Monterrey Tech student. So it's great to see this kind of successful stories. So thank you so much again.
No, thank you. Really was a pleasure.
Thanks. Give us a like about this video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks again and see you soon.